Welcome to Spotlight on SQL Server Enterprise video on migration of Spotlight. This process will migrate the configuration and customization of your existing Spotlight Diagnostic server to a new Diagnostic server. This process has 9 steps to complete. Step 1. Backup data files. Open the Spotlight client to verify your current Spotlight version using the Help About window. Also use a Diagnostic Server option to record the Playback database name. Next, open Windows Services console. Locate and stop the Spotlight Diagnostic Server service. Next, locate the Spotlight Diagnostic Server installation path. By default, C Program Files Quest Software Diagnostic Server Agent. Copy this folder to the server you are migrating the Diagnostic server to, or to a shared drive that the new server can access. You'll need to access this path at a later time. Step 2. Install Spotlight on the new Diagnostic server host. Install the same version of the Spotlight client and Diagnostic server on the destination server as in the source server. When installing the Diagnostic server, use the same Playback database used in the source Diagnostic server. Once installed, open the Spotlight client on the destination server and ensure that it connects to the Diagnostic server. Step 3. Migrate Data. Use the Services console to stop the Diagnostic server service on the destination server. Open the command prompt using the Run as Administrator option. Change directories to the Diagnostic server installation path. By default, C Program Files Quest Software Diagnostic Server Agent bin. Next, enter import saucy.bat with the path of the backed up source server enclosed in double quotes and run it. You should see the message at the end of the process validating the success of the migration. Start the Diagnostic server services on the destination server. Step 4. Test the migrated application. Open the Spotlight client on the destination server. Verify that connections have been migrated, along with your customizations. For example, customize alarms, templates, and alarm actions. Should you see Diagnostic server errors regarding the Playback or the Statistics repository databases, click Configure Diagnostic Server Playback Database option to re-enter the password should the connection use a SQL authentication account. Repeat the step for the Statistics repository database. For connections using SQL authentication accounts, use the Connections Properties window to re-enter the passwords as well. Step 5. Stop the source Diagnostic server. Using the Services console, stop the Diagnostic server on the source server if needed. Change to Manual Start Service or uninstall the Spotlight Diagnostic server and client from the source server if necessary. Step 6. Migrate Spotlight Playback and Statistics repository databases. This is an optional step and only applies if you plan to move these databases to a new server. First, stop the Spotlight Diagnostic server service on the new server. Back up and detach the existing Spotlight Playback and Statistics repository databases. Move the database MDF files to the new instance and attach them. Once the databases have been moved successfully to the new instance, start the Diagnostic server services. Open the Spotlight client application. Click Configure Diagnostic Server Playback Database option and enter the new instance name of the Playback database. Repeat the step for the Statistics Repository database. Step 7. Configure Spotlight clients. Open each remote Spotlight client to associate the Spotlight client with the Migrated Diagnostic Server location. Use Configure Diagnostic Server Select Diagnostic Server option to change the address field to enter the newly located diagnostic server hostname or IP address. Step 8. Update historical data. Update the Playback and Statistics Repository databases with the newly installed diagnostic server hostname. If you would like to use your historical data in the application and reports, this step will require execution of several scripts. The script code can be found under the Migrate Spotlight Help page. We advise to perform this step when the usage of Spotlight is light, as the execution of scripts may take time and is dependent on the size of your databases. First, stop the diagnostic server services. In Management Studios, log into the instance holding the Playback and repository databases. Run the query against the Spotlight Statistic Repository database in order to obtain the old and the new diagnostic server names. Upload the script provided at the bottom of the Migrate Help document page. Copy the new and old diagnostic server host names obtained from the previous query in the script. Run the script against the Spotlight Playback database. Next, we'll update the Statistics Repository database. In Management Studios, log into the instance of your Statistics Repository database. Run the following query against the database to identify the domain IDs of the old and new diagnostic servers. Under the Programmability section, locate and execute the store procedure move diagnostic server host. Enter the input parameter values. Copy the domain of the source and destination IDs. Enter 0 if the diagnostic server port is 3843. Otherwise, set to 1. Execute the store procedure. Start the Spotlight Diagnostic Server service. Step 9. Complete the process. Configure additional settings. If you are using the Spotlight Cloud feature, click Configure Diagnostic Server Spotlight Cloud to re-enable the feature. Sign in with your Spotlight Cloud account. Lastly, check the remaining connections using the SQL authentication accounts. Use the Connection Properties window for each connection to re-enter the passwords. This completes the migration process. To learn more about Spotlight on SQL Server, visit us at supportquest.com. Or for quick questions, follow us on Twitter at QuestExperts.